You cannot even imagine the extent of violence and oppression and savagery that these Islamists can bring into their society. They don't worry about inclusivity and diversity and all of these things. Once they
Yeah.
get the power, they're gonna hang you. They don't mess around. They say to women, marry your rapist and it will be fine. You better wake up before things go down and before it's too late.
Do you think the Islamic regime in Iran has a future? Do you believe it is coming to an end, which is why they are acting the way they are acting right now?
I think they are coming to an end because we've seen throughout history that none of these dictators, none of these dictator governments remain in power. Sooner or later, they collapse, they get destroyed. We see it with Soviet Union, we saw it with all these governments and all of these dynasties, like before Islamic Republic, like Qajar, and all of those dynasties. We see it in different countries around the world. They're not going to stay, so they will collapse eventually. But the thing is, who's going to replace them? Who's going to take the power next, and how long? Like, because the more it takes, the damage that will be done is more and bad, and it will take longer for the country to recover from it. So that is now the point. And I'm honestly not hopeful with what's going on in America and generally Western countries. I mean, yeah, I hate it to like generalize, but the dominant narrative and the dominant group is going crazy. And that was exactly what happened in Iran. Like, okay, you have a stronger foundations. Like America has this strong constitution and everything going on. Okay, but how long do you think that's gonna hold it together? And that's not gonna collapse. Like, if you keep empowering these groups, they're gonna make this revolution that you think is not gonna happen because, oh well, Islamists are a minority in America. They will make it happen by your own hands, by leftists, by Democrats, by all of these different groups. They'll brainwash them, deceive them into making that revolution and that collapse happen from within, not from outside influence, from within. That's how they are doing. That's how they are operating.
Europe seems really bad right now. UK seems really bad. There's enough power within to start messing things up really, really badly. And people aren't really paying attention to this. So as an ex-Muslim and a woman who was born in and grew up in the Islamic Republic, the Islamic regime of Iran, what do you really want to say to people in the West?
Let me see which one is less harsh, because what I want to say, honestly, is just don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Don't think these people share the same values as yours. They do not. And they don't mess around. They don't worry about inclusivity and diversity and all of these things that you are practicing and trying to like include these people under the name of inclusivity and diversity. They don't care about that. Once they gain power, gone. You're all gone. Everything about your values will be gone right out of the window. And if you see that happening, like you see in like a very small scale happening in Europe, is because of the physical distance with all of these Muslim societies, but it will get to America as well. So don't you ever think it's far from happening, and just you better wake up before things go down and before it's too late, because none of these countries that you see in the Middle East used to be like that. Iran used to be a democratic country, used to practice all of these moral values, all the women rights, all of these movements way before America. Women in Iran had the right to vote before America. They used to be great countries. Afghanistan used to be a good country, but they all went down. How long do you think yours will take to get down?
Even the great rival of Iran, Saudi Arabia, up until the 1970s, 1980s, it wasn't really that badly Islamic. It was forced to change into a hardcore Islamist country. So all of this whole revivalism by these Islamist movements who thought we have been suppressed, we haven't been properly represented, and now let's take over and force everyone to follow our way. These currents, they exist throughout the Muslim world. And as you import them and dismiss all the concerns that people raise about them, you will also turn yourselves into victims of those Islamist currents. And everyone needs to understand that. As you said, you pointed out something interesting, something good, something important, which is that these societies, like the Islamists in Iran and others, they don't care about your inclusivity and this and that and tolerance. They don't care about any of that. If you talked like that in an Islamist society, you would be lynched or killed or hanged from a crane or something. So
if they don't do it here, it's because they don't have the power yet. Once
yeah,
they get the power, they're gonna hang you. They don't mess around. It's not anything like you've seen because they haven't experienced that. They haven't seen it. They cannot even imagine the extent of violence and oppression and just savagery that these Islamists can bring into their society. They cannot imagine that.
have you ever been
And
to a
it
public
is very
execution?
dangerous. I haven't been to because my parents never liked that. But it was shown on national TV. It used to be, at least. Not in recent years, but when I was a kid, it used to be just play on national TV. Public execution, it was a thing. It is still a thing, but it's not on national TV. That's the thing. And one thing I really like to say, this has been a recent argument. Been arguing a lot with people on my Twitter account. They say, why are you so focused on Islamists and Islam? That's not the only danger. The main danger in America is Christianity, like the extremist Christians, all of these. These are the ones that are going to turn America into a handmaid's tale. These are the real dangers in Western societies. Not only it's laughable and ridiculous, it's just that, okay, yes, extremists from any religion, any belief share some similarities with the Islamists, but right now in the world, most terrorist groups are Islamist fundamentalists. Like, what are you talking about? This is the danger right now in the current world. And second of all, I am no religion scholar. I'm talking about my lived experiences, what I've seen, what I've experienced, and what I know. I know about Islam. I studied Islam. I used to read 10 pages of Quran every night before going to bed. I read interpretations. I studied this religion and I lived with it. So I talk about it. I talk about what I know. You want to talk about Christianity and their extremists? Go on, be my guest. I'm not going to be the one to talk about that. So it's ridiculous when you say, oh, why are you not talking about the extremist Jews and extremist Christians? Because I haven't been one. And I don't know enough about it. You talk about it if you know. I'm not.
You're in America now. You've been here for quite a while, for a few years at least. You would agree with me, right? When I say when these people in the West, in America, and in Western societies, when they talk about extremist Christians and all that, it's laughable to me. I want to just laugh about it because it's nothing at all compared to average Islam.
They think it's comparable. They think it's comparable. That is like something okay. Islam, I'm not even going to say Muslims because not all Muslims practice the instructions of Islam exactly. Some Muslims, including the community that I grew up in, they had their made up instructions. It was very like reformed version of Quran and Islam. And yeah, pedophilia is bad and all that. But the true instructions of Islam and what Islam practices is one of them is pedophilia. This book, this religion practices pedophilia. Yes, not all Muslims practice that, but the religion by itself, the ideology that we talk about, it practices that and it encourages that. It allows that. How is that even comparable to what you're saying about Christianity? Oh, yeah, there are priests that are pedophiles. Well, yeah, and if they get arrested, they will be punished accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
But Islam, that is okay. That's okay. If they find out that someone is like doing appropriate things to child, so they say, okay, yeah, marry them. If they are girls, marry them.
Yeah,
it's
at
fine.
least honor it and marry them. That's the way. Mm-hmm. That's the right way.
Yeah, marry your rapist. They say to women, if you got raped, marry your rapist, and it will be fine. Yeah. You will be forgiven by God, as if someone who's been raped is a criminal or is a sinner.
Then we have, of course, the whole beating women, treating them as belongings, taking more of them if possible. In a state of war, abducting women and using them for sex when you have captives of war, mm-hmm. which is also something that certain elements within Hamas have recently tried to practice. And they have sexually assaulted Israelis that they attacked and so on. Islam is just not something to stand with and something to protect. People should be smarter and better than that. And listen to ex-Muslims and their experiences.
It's a cult. It has every element of a cult. Look it up. What are the signs of a cult? Islam is a cult. Yeah. You leave Islam, you get prosecuted, you will be sentenced to death if they catch you. You disrespect the leaders, disrespect the prophet, you will get killed. This is a cult. It's not a religion. It's not a moral system that you want to protect and you want to include. No, it's not that.
No, it is absolutely terrible. For now, have a fantastic day, and as always, stay away from Islam.